Hi, it's been a while. So it's been a while since I've been able to put out a video. My life's been pretty crazy. And even though things are looking up right now, it's been a lot of change and a lot of work. So I've been catching up on things, and this is one of those things. At the beginning of this year, I set financial goals, and I'm supposed to do a 6-month update. So early July is when this is supposed to be recorded. Now, I'm still planning on making a final end of the year update at the end of the year. So I'm just gonna go through January through June and at least give you guys a progress update as far as that. And at the end of the year, we'll cover the rest of it. So if you're like me, you probably don't remember 6 or at this point 10 months ago. So you probably don't remember what my goals were. But I looked back, and the main project for this year, the overarching goal, was just a year of catching up. But the main project as part of that I was supposed to do this year is to get my storage unit organized and maybe even reduce it in size a bit. Maybe consolidate mine and my mom's. And that was gonna be the main project for summer. See, I started out the year homeless, living in the Carolinas. And when the weather got better, about mid-May, I came back to West Virginia / Ohio, and I was supposed to work on this project all summer. Well, that's not exactly what happened. The reason I didn't get it done is I came back when the weather warmed up in early May, and then I was gone by late July. I got a job, which was starting beginning of August, and I had to move. So where I thought I have all summer to work on this project, I actually had a very short window. But some other good news is once I got back and I actually looked over the storage unit, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. I had made a lot of progress back in 2021, and even though I had to shove everything from my apartment in it after that, I'd also taken a lot out to take to the Carolinas with me for the winter, and then I took a lot more out to take to Indiana for the new job. So once that stuff was out, although it's still a huge project, it wasn't nearly as big of a project as I had been thinking it was. But still, as far as the goal, I didn't get a whole lot of anything accomplished as far as getting anything reduced in there. And then the second goal was, could I get all of the deferred maintenance done on the car? The car has almost 250,000 miles on it, and it was way behind on a lot of stuff. I had a couple of leaky tires, I had some suspension issues, and a lot of other smaller problems. And this one, I made a lot of progress on. So I ended up getting 2 of the tires replaced, several months apart, but got it done, and then I didn't have to worry about filling up the tire every day as it was going low. I'd also had a coolant leak for almost a year, where I just had to add coolant, I don't know, maybe once a week, and I got that upper radiator hose that was leaking finally fixed, so that was a major win. But then, as you guys probably remember from my live streams, the car started overheating, and turns out I had a cracked radiator. So instead of putting all the money toward deferred maintenance, I had new maintenance that was, it had to take priority. So I replaced the radiator, the lower radiator hose, did a coolant flush essentially, put all new coolant and conditioner in it, and replace the thermostat. So the only thing that I didn't replace from the coolant system was the temperature control sensor and the water pump. And I got as well caught up on oil change because I was behind on that. And when I got the oil change, I did go to the dealership because they'll do that inspection of like everything that needs fixed. So then at least I had a list to work off of. And that was my intention, to go ahead and fix everything. That being said, it did continue to give me problems, and I will cover more of those in my update video. So I guess as a final answer to that. I made a lot of progress toward that goal, but I didn't get all the deferred maintenance done, and I had a plethora of new issues that came about. So I had to tackle some of those instead. And the third goal was to do my taxes. You guys know this whole situation I've been dealing with the last 3 years has got me behind. I didn't file my taxes for 2021 or 2022. And for 2023, I didn't file them on time, but I filed for an extension and that was granted. So that would give me until October of this year to get 2023's filed. But one of the big problems with getting my taxes done was that I had to move so many times between 2021 and 2024 that things got shoved places and moved into one or the other storage units, and I wasn't exactly sure where everything was. So what I can say is, while I didn't get the taxes done in the first half of the year, I was able to find the taxes or the tax papers. So that's the first step. And when I got back from North Carolina, that was one of the first things I did, is I was able to dig through both storage units and I found all of my tax papers for 2021, and I had actually taken down to the Carolinas all my tax papers for 2023. So I currently, right now, I cannot find 2022, so that is partly a project, but I'll get the other ones filed and then take care of that. But big progress being made of even finding the papers to make a pile so that when I am ready to go forward and be able to get those caught up and filed, I at least have something to work with. And the fourth goal was just to earn less money from the apps, meaning DoorDash, Instacart, Uber Eats, things like that. TaskRabbit is fine because it's a whole different animal. And this could have meant getting a regular job or various other things. And I tried to get jobs, but all I've gotten is rejections. So as far as in the first half of 2024, I didn't meet this goal at all. Basically, I have been trying to do furniture assembly on the side, and it ebbs and flows. I'll get a few jobs and then I don't get any jobs for a couple months. I've also done a lot of work through TaskRabbit, and for example, January and February were pretty busy, and then I don't think I had anything in March. So same with that. But I'm making money where it's more profitable when I can. And when I do that, I of course use the apps less to make money. Now, as the year went on, I did actually have to make a pretty large part of my income from the apps. And that was just because once I got back to Ohio in May, TaskRabbit was dead. And I really wasn't getting any independent work either. So the only thing that I had was DoorDash, pretty much, which is the opposite of where I wanted to be. And the whole point is, I don't want to be relying on my car to make the income. I mean, my poor car is old and decrepit, and I'm starting to have problems with it this year. And I don't want to be relying on something I can't trust for my main source of income. But at the same time, it was the only option. I'd lined up the job to start in July or early August, but here I was. It's like, well, what do I do for 2 months? Even if I could get a job, I can't get a job and then screw them over in a month when I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm leaving. And I just wasn't able to find anything else, and I wasn't finding furniture assembly work. So for the months of June and July, a lot of my income did come from the apps, which is not what I wanted at all. It's kind of the opposite of my goal. And when I make the video at the end of the year, I'll catch you guys up a little bit more about how that turned out for the year in its entirety. And the final goal for 2024 was to see if I could get the fraternity job back, the one that I had in 2021 and 2022. Because someone in the comments, it might have been the Well-Behaved Wallet, said that one of my goals for this year should be to get housed. For those of you not familiar with the channel and just coming across this video, I've been homeless on and off throughout my life because I've had so many problems with money. But I recently went through well, what we'll call the divorce. It's the closest word to it. And that not only destroyed me financially, but ended up with me being homeless. And I was homeless, like solidly homeless from May of 2023, when my roommate tried to stab me, to July of 2024. So it's a little bit ahead of our 6-month time frame here, but spoiler alert, I did get the job. And by when I should have made this video, I already knew I had the job. It was just a matter of waiting until it started. Having this fraternity job is, it's not ideal because it's not perfect, but I still have a flexible schedule somewhat. I get a little bit of money coming in. I have housing. It's not great. It's a fraternity house, but it's housing. It's better than my car. And so it gives me a little bit of stability, and food service is provided for most of the meals. So it helps me out financially with getting some free food as well. So the good news is I did achieve this goal. I got the job, and at the time that I should have been making this video, I was just a couple weeks away from leaving to start the job, and that is where things ended up for that goal for the year, which is actually a huge success because of the impact that it's going to have overall on my finances and probably my quality of life as well. So with that said, probably a lot less progress than I really had anticipated making in the first 6 months of the year. But with that said, I wanted to say, we gotta adjust things a little bit for the second half of the year, because for the second half of the year, I'm going to have a job and I'm gonna have money coming in. Big changes in my life. I'm moving out of state. So what's that gonna mean? Well, so I still want to do some work and make some progress on the goals from the first half of the year, because those are still valid goals. But because of the entire change and shift in my work and living and money situation, because of getting this job, I'm going to need to make some adjustments. So here's what I'm planning to do for the rest of the year. Now, I know I'm making this video in late October, so this is not October me saying this. This is actually June me saying this. This disgusting paper has been sitting in the passenger seat of the car since June, because I actually wrote it out when I was supposed to make this video. So this is end of June me making this video on time me, telling you what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this year. So starting on July 1st, here's what the plan is. My first paycheck will come in August 31st. I get paid the last day of the month, and that money will be my money to operate for September. So I'll basically have operating expenses for this year for September, October, November, and December. And once that money comes in, for the most part, I'm going to stop doing the gig work. And that's going to fix the goal from earlier this year, where a large portion of my money was coming from that, and I wanted it to be a much smaller portion. I might not stop doing gig work altogether, but I'm going to be doing it a lot less frequently, and I'm not going to be relying on it as my main source of income. And that'll give my car a breather and some time to work on that other goal, which was getting all the maintenance caught up. Because if I'm not putting all that mileage on it, then I can get stuff replaced before other things go wrong. And as far as the taxes go from earlier this year, one of the main things that I want to do, getting to Indiana, is I want to take all of the tax documents that I found in the storage unit and put them in this apartment and get them organized and spread out and see what I have and see what I still need to get. And that'll be in preparation for actually working on and getting those taxes filed. And it's probably going to take a second trip, because like I mentioned, I don't know where the 2022 tax documents are. I know what envelope there are, what it looks like, I just can't find it. So I'm probably gonna have to go back over Christmas break, grab some more stuff for just use in the apartment here and spend some more time filing those tax documents. And because I now actually have money coming in, especially some consistent money, I'm able to start working on financial goals again. Not just goals like these that affect my finances, but actual financial goals like putting money away toward debt. I'm going to be reinstating what I used to do last year, where every time I do a delivery with DoorDash or Instacart, $1 per delivery will go toward debt. It's not much, but it's something. And then earlier this year, I was doing what I call 5%/5%. And that's both for off-platform furniture assembly and also for the furniture assembly work that I make on TaskRabbit. Basically, I was taking 10% out of each payment that I got there and then splitting it in half. So 5% was going to savings and the other 5% to retirement. I probably have some better things to be doing than putting it toward retirement right now. So instead, I'm gonna just use that entire 10% and put it toward savings right now. Just at least until I get savings build up to a respectable amount. And then I'm gonna be doing the same thing with the money that I make from the fraternity. So I did take a cash advance, so my first check in August is gonna be a little weird, but the check I get in September, which will go toward October's living expenses, is gonna be the first full payment. It's $2,500, so I'm gonna do that 5 and 5 with that. So I'll take 10% out of that, and half of that is gonna go toward savings, and half of that would go toward retirement, but temporarily, until all my debt is paid off. That other $125 is going to go toward paying off some past due invoices. I still have, from a year ago, invoices for the lawsuit. I have about $2,000 total still that I owe on that I'm gonna slowly pay off. And I'm gonna be paying it in multiple ways, but that $125 per month is gonna go toward that. And then after those are paid off, then I'm just gonna use that toward general debt. So it'll still be $125 per month for savings, and then $125 per month toward, maybe an extra credit card payment or something like that. And then also getting out to Indiana and having this income coming in while simultaneously having a flexible schedule and technically be working full-time, or technically be working part-time for the money that I'm making, opens up the possibility of making more income and getting a job on top of those. There's a few different ways that can work out. A lot of factors that it depends on, and it's not totally in my control, but one thing I could do is get a remote job and just work from home here. The other thing I can do is get a part-time job somewhere in town, a few hours a week, and that might help as well, as long as it pays enough. But the big thing is I now have enough money coming in to be somewhat stable so I can work on expanding my business, which is furniture assembly. And with TaskRabbit, I can still do it. TaskRabbit doesn't actually exist here in the town I'm in, but 50 minutes north, it does. And because of that, I can go to Indianapolis and I can get jobs up there. Now, TaskRabbit as an app seems like it's kind of dying. There's not a lot of work that's coming in from it, but I'll take it where I can get it. And I might be able to make some extra money from that. I might even be able to bring on contractors in different cities so that I can send them leads and make a little bit off of what they're making. And that's an option as well. In fact, I've got a guy in Louisville who is willing to do that. So this is something that's it's so hard to plan because there's so many different factors to it. But basically I'm saying that I have the opportunity now, not just to make the $2,500 a month, but to make a little bit more. And it might be odd jobs, it might be random gigs of furniture assembly, or maybe I do find something stable that works with my schedule here. Maybe I just have 2 jobs. But it gives me the opportunity not just to be stable from what I'm making, but to make a little bit more as well. And so I'm going to explore all the options that are available for that. And that pretty much summarizes what the final goal is. I mean, I'm going to stay in this job until at least May of 2025. That's what my contract is. And I've been doing this long enough now that I don't think I'm going to get fired right away. So I think I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be here for that time period. And in that time period, I'm going to be able to make a good amount of progress toward getting my life together and getting some finances caught up. The fact of the matter is, I can live comfortably off $2,500 a month, especially with having my rent and utilities paid and getting some free food. It gives me an opportunity to catch up, which is what I desperately needed. And on top of that, I am only supposed to work a max of 20 hours a week to do that. So if I find 10 or 20 hours a week somewhere else, then I'll do that and I can make progress even faster. Or if not, then I have some extra free time and who knows, maybe I can make some videos, or I can get some other projects done in my life that have been put off for years. So overall, it's a big shift for the last half of the year. When I set those goals at the beginning of this year, I had no idea I'd be in Indiana. I was in North and South Carolina, just planning on coming back to Ohio. I couldn't have known that I'd be in the situation that I'm in now. So it turns out things worked out pretty well. And now that they have, for the next few months, I just have to live frugally and make progress where I can. And I will review everything at the beginning of 2025. I can give you the updates of everything that I've accomplished the rest of the year, and these new goals that I just set, we can review the progress made on those. So I'm hoping this is the start of me getting my life back together, and that includes making videos and working on the channel and making content. And that's why I'm making goal videos, is it somewhat holds me accountable to making updates on them and also working in the background to accomplish those goals. I know a lot of you are here because I used to make so many finance videos, and it's been a long time since I've been able to make progress on those. So you guys have stuck with me. I appreciate that. And I hope now that you can get back to the exciting part of actually seeing progress being made. That's the plan anyhow.